Welcome back, y'all. This will be my video on the 5 things I like most about the 0304 SVT Cobra. So number 5, simple one, but much like the Supra, the exhaust note. Something about the 4-valve 4.6 liters, they just, to me, it's one of the best sounding V8s that Ford anyway has put out. And honestly, I don't like the way Chevy motors sound, so I'm gonna say yeah, it's probably one of the best sounding engines to me as far as V8s go. Pretty simple. Number 4, the interior. We'll go with the interior. So I do, like, I've always loved the suede. Mine's wore out. This was a daily, you know, and whatnot. It's wore out. It doesn't wear well, but like if you look at this one, it's way better condition, and it's just an awesome feeling seat. You know, that they're bolstered very well, and the suede is just looks cool, and it keeps you in your seat. The suede actually does keep you from sliding. So that's number 4. Number 3, just the overall driving. To me, a lot of people hate this, but I do enjoy the uprightness of it. There's not blind spots. You know, you like if I was driving, I turn my head, I can see what's coming that way. You know, no big deal. I feel like I have good visibility. And you know, the foot placement, I sit fairly close. It's just something because I learned how to fly before I could learn how to drive, and I was taught to be able to manipulate your pedals on a plane so that you don't have to stretch your leg all the way out when it's pressed all the way in. So I sit a little closer than most people would, but anyway. So I actually don't have a problem reaching the gears with where the shifter is. Along with that, the gauges, I've always enjoyed it, especially when they're on, when the lights are on. You can't see it now, but the green back glow, I've always loved that. I'm gonna try and make this one quick. So number 3, well, the number 3 and number 2 are kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of one. I don't think one's more important than the other, but I'm gonna go with 3 being the look. I mean, I don't care what angle you look at a Terminator from. They look badass. I mean, it is a sinister looking car that, as other people have said, if you look at it from the front, the rear, the side, they're just awesome looking cars. They just look like they look menacing. Silver wouldn't have ever been my top pick. I always wanted Sonic Blue, but silver grew on me, and it kind of, to me, it fits the T800 thought, you know, mentality. But that's beside the point. Number 2 would be, along with that, the sound. So yeah, you got that note. I mean, I don't really think there's any other V8 that has that exhaust note, which I know I talked about that already, but you also, you know, that whine, and I talked about it in the Lightning video. That's what drew most people to these cars, was that damn whine. You know, the snake bite videos and all the 2.2 Kenny Bells and whatnot. It just was intoxicating. Especially me, I was old enough to, when these came out, I was actually just because, you know, I was in college, couldn't afford one then. I was in the Guard. I probably could have when I deployed to Iraq in 04. could have probably bought one of these and paid it off while I was in Iraq. I wish I had. But then again, I probably wouldn't have it today with all the things I've been through in life. But anyway, the wine. I mean, it just, anytime you get on one of these, it's hard to get good gas mileage in these cars because you want to hear that damn whine so much. You know, it's just there aren't really any other cars that just do that like that. I do have, you know, that's one of the reasons why I wanted a Kenny Bell, because of that old video. Yeah, it's not, Kenny Bells are not the best blowers out there. Whipples surpass them for sure. VMPs for the most part even. But, you know, and I went with a smaller Kenny Bell because they whine more. They're less, you know, they're less efficient, but they're cooler, if you ask me. The 2.4 honestly has surprised the hell out of me because people said they weren't good blowers, but you know, it whines just as loud as probably the 2.2s did. Maybe not as loud, but it's loud enough. And honestly, that blower makes really good power. I know I'm over 700 to the wheel on the 85 because I'm actually spinning it hard. You know, I'm probably closer to 750 based on airflow and how much fuel I'm using. But anyway, that's beside the point. That the whine. So the whine, the exhaust note, and the way the cars look going down the road, they were just, you know, back in the Street Fire days, before YouTube and all that, you had to download videos to watch them, and they were, you know, even though they were in like 120p or whatever, 144p or whatever the crap that the resolution was, I was just like, watch them over and over again. And, which brings me to number one. The other reason, the reason why these cars were also able to make the name for themselves is because, you know, they came from the factory. It's the first Mustang. Well, not the first Mustang, but the first regular non-R type Mustang to come with a 6-speed, and it came with a T56. Now, albeit it's not the best T56 ever, because as you know, they come with a smaller input shaft from the factory and whatnot, but it was by far a quantum leap above in the 5-speeds that we had for the previous 15-20 years before that. You know, I mean, I remember chewing up stock T5s with Fox bodies and whatnot. That was no big deal. But they also came with, you know, the factory built short block with manley rods, forced pistons, forced crank, which allows them to be modified more than twice their factory capacity or factory rating and not have to worry about it. And as long as you do the cooling, make sure the cooling is right, and you know, you're getting fuel and all that, you can just boost these things to the moon, and you know, they don't blow up for the most part, as long as you, like I said, getting fuel, it's running cool enough and whatnot. For example, I think they came from the factory with like 8.5 psi or something like that. I'm running roughly 22.5 to 24.5, depending on the weather, psi. So on a cold day, I'm running twice the boost, or I mean, 3 times the boost that came from the factory with the stock short block, and that's just ridiculous, you know. So, you know, it's just a car that they'll always be iconic, and they'll always, you know, people will always know what they are. I think as long as there's gas-powered cars and people that remember gas-powered cars are still around. I have a feeling one day it'd be old people talking about, yeah, back in my day, my Cobra, you know, was, you know, we didn't have these electric cars back in my day. Anyway, so that's just my video, my take, and my 5 things that I love about the Terminators. That'll probably wrap it up for today. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.